something. This might be a test run. This might be a test run, not the real video. But let's see where we get with it. So I noticed people are having a lot of issues with playing this game in general, not understanding how am I supposed to be moving. This game, I can do this. We can do all this weird movement. How am I supposed to know what's good and what's bad? How do I even play a ground game? What is a ground game? How come I'm being told that I'm playing too aggressively? I thought I was playing rushdown. Isn't this rushing down? I thought this is rushdown. What does any of this mean? If only we had someone like Juicebox to tell us. But we don't. So if you want to know how to beat Bison's standing heavy kick with Cammy, go watch Juicebox Footsy's video. So what are we gonna talk about? So first I'm gonna go over small basic concepts one by one, and then at the end we're gonna try to make a whole regimen around it. So I think first of all you need to understand that you have to have clean inputs. So when you're doing, so the first thing I would think to teach is IED-BAACC. So the thing with IED-BAACC is you want it to be low to the ground. You want your button to be out immediately. Now you might be wondering, why would I want this? So I'm going to show a couple of reasons why you would want to try this. So say like your results will vary based on the character you're using, of course. We're going to be looking at it from one of the most basic characters in the game, just to see how universal this can be. So first, when you're developing your movement regimen, this might be one of the first things you want to implement. IEDs with a jump C or whatever button can be good for your character, and we'll see. I'll show you what situations we're talking about right now. So why would this be good? One thing I noticed is, say a neutral situation, maybe like you're here, maybe you're here-ish, and I notice a lot of players will be like, man, I don't like the spacing, anything can happen, a lot of weird shit could happen. So what they do this. They do this. So with Nanya, generally, like, not a big deal, right? This isn't a big deal. But it can become problematic, even with a character like Nanya, whose backdash is super fast. Why is that a problem sometimes? Because people don't recognize that when you're backdashing, it still uses a lot of frames. And it could end up with you giving up your turn, or at worst, getting punished. So, alright, not to get too layered, but a lot of people do backdash and then buttons, which is pretty bad unless your backdash is literally making something miss. So I'm going to show, let me see what I have recorded. So I have the dummy, no, this is not the right one. So the dummy is doing dash, just doing an IED, right? So if you backdashed here, let's say, oh shit, I got punished. You see how, like, when you do that, you get punished? Or even if you don't get punished, you would have to be in a position where you have to block. So there's no room for, there's no wiggle room, right? You're giving up frames and whatever. So now let's look at it again, but this time we're going to do an IED-BAACC. What happens if you do an IED-BAACC instead? Either, alright, nothing happened. Oh shit, she exploded. Nice and low to the ground. What happens if I delay it? Let's see what happens if I delay my button, or I do the... Oh shit, I got hit. I got counter hit. Oh shit. But if I do it really quick, Oh shit, look who's dying. It's her. But now you might be wondering, what if they don't fly at me and instead they come at me from the ground? So we'll look at that. We'll see Ryogi is doing a dash B. Alright, she has a clash box. Got a counter hit. So in essence, the IAD back is a good way to readjust your positioning while putting out a hitbox. As opposed to the same idea, if you backdash here, you have to block. Or in certain cases, you even get hit. That's why the backdash in neutral can be pretty risky. As opposed to this kind of repositioning. So obviously if you're here, like right next to the opponent, when you're right next to the opponent, it's different, right? Because you're backdashing to literally dodge an attack. But when you're here and you're backdashing, you're just giving up frames. Correct? So number 2, we're going to move on one thing at a time. These are the ultimate basics. Number 2 would be the same idea, but instead now we're doing jump 9 or jump 8. Jump 8, drift back. Jump 8, drift back, jump C. Similar concept, but we give up less ground. In essence, we can extend that to jump 7C. So if you can imagine, in your head by now, we might get similar results here. So we counter hit an aggressive play. So why would you do drift back as opposed to drift forward? If I drift forward, all of a sudden I'm extending my hurt box forward. So by the time my jump C is out, Ryogi's already in my face hitting me. Maybe you can get lucky because she sucks. But generally you'll see that that's going to be way more inconsistent. Same thing with a jump 7. So it's a good way to stop aggression. And again, it's the same idea against a grounded approach. Yeah? Alright, 1 second. So you can practice your drifts, make sure you know how to drift. So now moving on to the even more important shit is your jump 9. What can you do when you jump 9? And why would you jump 9? So if I'm here, I can approach from the ground. Gain ground. This is good. I could also jump 9. If your opponent is, if you're doing it from here, there's no threat. So there's, oh, and check it out. If you notice my inputs, whenever I'm jumping, look at what I'm inputting. There's a down back inputted at all times. Why is that? Just in case they meet you in the air. If they meet you in the air, you'll be blocking instead of getting hit. So that will go to everything. You're gonna generally always wanting to be blocking in the air, even if you're super jumping, whatever. Always want to be blocking in the air. This is a concept that's often lost. Like, people will do this, and it's like, whoa, dude, you're not blocking. Or they try to escape the corner. They try to escape the corner, and they're not pressing a block, and it's like, whoa, man, why are you not blocking? So the next thing you would want to practice is something like this. Jump 9A, jump 9A, double jump 8, drift back, jump C. This is like probably the core foundation of Melty Blood scouting. Now, with certain characters, it could vary. Like, there could be times where a drift forward into a drift back is perfectly okay. Just because you want to maybe gain a little ground. It's the same idea as because if you're jump 9ing, drifting forward, drifting back, same concept. You could practice this too. This would be like something you see Jacob do a lot with Miyako. So he's like scouting, looking for something. So say the opponent starts whiffing something, maybe then it's okay to air dash in. But if they're not whiffing something, it's not okay to just fly at them. Because despite what you know about this game and what people tell you, there's no anti-airs, there's no this and that. The person on the ground generally will have the advantage unless they are whiffing something. And when they're whiffing something, all of a sudden, now you have the frame advantage. But for the most part, you don't want to do it unless you're 100% sure something they're doing is missing. So now, what would this do? What would this do? So similarly, there's going to be a lot of layers to this, right? But first of all, you want to ingrain this kind of movement in your head. So let's say say like they come at you, whatever, we have Rogi doing dash B. Well, that is one option, right? So this is something a little more advanced I thought I would look at later. But if you get your jump A out, and then you see they're whiffing under you, you could fall with a button, because your jump A's generally, for the most part, allow you to go into buttons. But you notice that sometimes if you're doing the jump A, hey, Ryogi's just anti-airing me. So that's where your double jump comes in. Now, if I'm in this situation, say I'm in this situation, I would probably air dash back. So think about that. So now if I'm in a position where the opponent is not an immediate threat, this is fine because you're protecting your space in front of you. But if you're here and you happen to find yourself in the air here, you might think, oh man, this is a prime jump C spot. This is a prime jump C spot. But it's actually fucking bad because you are putting yourself at the mercy of your opponent. So real quick, I'll show you why you are at the mercy of your opponent. So let's switch roles. Right? So same thing. So say now you're above your opponent's head. Too bad Ryogi fucking sucks. Shout out to N2L. But either way, you notice this, that, hey, you're above her head. She has anti-airs. Believe it or not, she has anti-airs. People could even dash under you. Oh shit, I'm getting mixed up. Doesn't that suck? The other thing is, they could just shield. So now how do we mitigate this? Let's go back to looking at... Whoops, excuse me. Going back to Nanya against Ryogi. So now we know Ryogi can do 6AA, she could 5B, she could shield, she could dash under. That kind of a movement. So when you're in this kind of situation where you're near her and she is grounded and waiting for you, she has these options. So what would you instead do? You find yourself in this awkward spot. You have to use that final air dash. So Melty Blood, again, has more movement options than your typical anime fighter. So you might as well use them. You find yourself drifting back and you're in a position where the opponent can threaten. Now you should air dash back. Because now what happens? Say Ryogi tried to do her dash under here. Oh, no. Now she's dashing into your jump seat. Say she tries to anti-air you. Her anti-air is going to miss. Say she tries to shield. Now her shield whiffs. And you're back to a safe positioning. Sounds good, right? So in general, like, you see this in a lot of anime games. Like, this kind of movement is pretty common. Like, you see this in Blaze Blue. You see this in Guilty Gear. Just people scouting for their opponent to make a mistake. Or just playing out the neutral, whatever. But in Melty Blood, it is going to be more nuanced because of things like drift and the extra air option. So the drift back is important. So not just always doing this, because look at the ground I have, right? So I'm standing at this, whatever this red thing is. If I do jump and then double jump back, I didn't gain any ground. But if I jump and I drift, I did gain a slight amount of ground. And believe it or not, even gaining a small amount of ground like that can be really important. So again, you're going to only want to do an air dash back if they're a threat. And if they're not a threat, like say like here, Ryogi's not a threat, the drift back into the jump seat is perfectly fine. From here, you're at a good spacing to do whatever Nania shit. Dash 2B. And of course, like the intricacies of movement are gonna get deeper the more you explore your own character. So while you're practicing stuff like this, stuff like that, you know, whatever, you can also be like, hey, I'm Nania. I could do donkey kick. So if they are trying to chase me while I'm retreating mad hard, so say Ryogi's like, I'm gonna read your air dash back and chase it really hard, do a run up 5B, try to anti-air you, or even something stupider like a run up, whatever the fuck. Or if they try to pin your landing, right? So say like, so say you do this. Now let's look at this even in more detail with other character real quick. So we're gonna look at where is this bitch? We're gonna look at Miyako, and we're gonna look at Nania. So we're gonna record Nania to do. We're gonna record him to do this. So Miyako. Now Miyako's just waiting. And now you have to. Now Jacob is gonna kill you. Oh shit! Now you're fucked. Now you're fucked, and Jacob's pressuring you, and then he's gonna throw you, and then you're gonna fucking lose because you know Jacob's better than you. So now again, this is showing another reason why you want to make that final adjustment. And then I'll show one little detail that H and Anya could do. So if you do this. And Jacob's not on his shit. Oh, wait, hold up, sorry. So say Jacob's not on his shit, and he fucking tries to dash 2B. Oh, fuck, that last second adjustment. The last second adjustment caught him. But of course, Jacob could still wait for that last second adjustment, right? And still pin you down. So he can still pin you down. Because he'll walk and wait. He'll find the angle. I'm not the Miyako player, so forgive me. So he'll pin you, right? God damn it. But you see how good that is? Like, it's hard. People have to really be... There you go. So how can we stop that? Like, if he keeps pinning my landing every time I go to the air, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose every single time. So that's when you start thinking about, well, what other options does my character have? So you could think something stupid like a dodge. You could dodge with a C and H moon, just to further delay your landing and bait their attempt to pin you down or anti-air you. Or you could use character-specific options. So you jump, air dash back, and then, oh shit, I got a donkey kick. Huh, luckily for Miyako. Maybe you could probably even do it lower to the ground. Yeah. All of a sudden now Jacob might think twice. Well, we're using Jacob as an example, right? Because he's one of the best at this. So he'll try to pin you down, but the late donkey kick. Whatever. So you could think of these kinds of things with your own character, right? Let's go back to the original example. So now we could further expand on this. I'm trying to make this shit short and sweet. So forgive me if I gloss over something important. So again, we went over jump 9. But you could also do it with, say you're here and there's mad space. Again, dash up, gain ground, probably the best option. Probably the best way to do it. But what about super jump? So remember the concepts we presented with jump 9. We do kind of similar stuff with super jump. So super jump, wow, look how much space I gain. So let's say start from full screen. Super jump. Now I'm kind of near this pillar where I started from here. And it was pretty safe for me. Ryogi's not a threat. Pretty similar concept. And then if Ryogi is a threat, say you just jump here and go, oh shit, air dash back. And then say, oh no, she's a big threat again. Air dash back, air dodge. Oh shit, look how I retreated even further with the air dodge. Okay. So now what if I retreat further with the air dodge and then late donkey kick? So now we've developed a bunch of movement concepts with H and Anya. So go to the lab with your own character and see what you could do. So say like with FCL, I can delay my fall with keys. I can delay my fall with a charge jump to C or a regular jump to C, etc., etc. She has a dive too, so she can get further distance. So, alright, so that's basic. So you want to practice this kind of shit. Maybe jump 7s. You want to practice your quick air dash backs low to the ground. You want to do your drift backs and your jump 7 buttons. So real quick, I want to talk about anti-airing and Melty Blood really fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my bread and butter. Actually, no, I'm going to pick a different character just to show the example that you could do this with other characters. So we're going to go to H Satsuki. And we're going to go back to Nanya, right? Because, man, how do I beat Nanya's jump C, man? This is so messy. These people are just being crazy. So say we're going to record Nanya doing a couple different things. So first of all, he's going to fly at you with a super jump C. So how are we going to deal with this? It's like, oh no, he's flying at me. Your typical Satsuki player will be like, well, I have this button that anti-airs, right? But there's an inherent issue with this. Like, holy shit, it works, right? But let's re-record this. Let's re-record this and remember what we just learned. Let's remember that. Now what? Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. So what would you be better doing in this kind of situation? Jump 7B. From this angle, jump 7B. So if they do 1, 2. God damn it, I'm doing the jump C too fucking high. That's still too high? That should be fine. I'll slow. So this is the thing, you gotta be quick. God damn it, this fucking recording is too godlike. We're getting bodied. I'm having a Rokunaya moment. Bro, let's just use FCL. Fuck this shit. This character's whack. That shit works with her, but let's use our bread and butter. So same concept. I see this guy flying at me. Why am I doing the jump 7B? Because of the option I showed earlier. Because what if... What was the one I recorded before? This one? Was it this one? No. Whatever. Re-record. It's because of this. Because if I try to ground it anti-air, all of a sudden I get baited. But if I jump 7B, I'm safe. So what you want to do with your jump 7 button is do it immediately as you leave the ground. So if nothing happens, you're fine. But if you'll get the hit. If they're fast with their... So you see, even though he's retreating, it's pretty safe. So when do you want to use your grounded anti-air? When do you want to use it? Maybe if they do a quick IAD. Maybe a, you know, a quick IAD. If they do something like that. Most characters don't have good enough grounded anti-airs to use ever. Yeah, there's a lot of characters that struggle with grounded anti-airs, right? So the concept of anti-airing via air-to-airs is really important regardless. So we're looking at the situation where the opponent is using 2 jumps usually. But believe it or not, against IADs, a lot of times 5As can work. Depending, of course, matchup specific. But if you do have a grounded anti-air, you can use it. In this kind of situation, it's generally okay. Because if they try to bait it with a double jump, usually you'll have enough time to adjust. Anyway, that's not, I'm just trying to show the point. So the other thing with your grounded anti-air would be if they expend all air options. So if they expended all their air options, they can't really bait you, right? Oh, he's used everything. As opposed to them baiting you. Like if you have, see even the last second adjustment there, trying to flash kick, didn't work. So generally, jump 7 buttons. Usually with most characters, you'll have something that works here. But again, this is not exactly the example I wanted. I think a better example would be if they like double jump at you. So if they like Alright, so when people... So now we're going to go back to the original movement that we learned with Nania, right? And we're going to understand why this jump 9 shit works. So we're going to put it all together. Whatever, we'll pick Akiha. The character doesn't fucking matter in this example, really. So we're going to record Akiha. She's going to do super jump, drift back, jump C. So your first line of defense is going to involve... Well, let's look at it again. Remember this movement we were teaching? Remember this shit? Remember this shit? Remember this shit that we learned? What is this jump 9 shit? So the jump 9 usually is something you would want to think about when they fucking... Let me re-record this. So she's gonna do two 5As and then fly at me with a jump C, right? So as soon as you see them go airborne, the first line of defense is intercepting with a jump A. Right? So now when is jump A bad? So in this situation, jump A is really good, right? But now, when is the jump A shitty? So we'll show you when is the jump A shitty. Wow, I'm so averse to playing like a moron. Okay. Damn, that shit's fucking godlike. Maybe Nania is a bad example. Maybe Nania is a bad example. Let's use a normal character. Jesus Christ, Nania's jump A is godlike. Alright, let's go back to CL. Let's say I'm FCL. I think an easier way to record this too would just be... You notice how when you try to do a rising jump A against a descending opponent, it's kind of risky, right? So this again becomes another situation where your jump 7 button is your best option. Remember, make sure to jump 7, don't jump 8, right? Because if you jump 8, you're still putting yourself in a bad spot. God damn this bitch. So generally, the first line of defense is the jump A. Right? If they're already in a double jump state, jump B. If they use all of their air options, then you can play around with it. The jump B still is good, even if they use all their air options too, right? Just for clarity, that's still good. No, IB air throw is not really an option in this game. In fact, it puts you in a bad position, period. So, that's something I talked about in commentary last week. So, if, like, let's say something like that. Might as well show that too, right? Look what happened to me. Uh-oh. I got air unblockable. Because they end up landing and then you die. You can even see, like, trying to beat. You also don't have to forget you have shield against IEDs too. Shield usually sucks as anti-air, but against IEDs it can be okay because people are usually trying to IED at you to sneak in. But yeah, the chicken guard shit is really dangerous. You can see me trying to escape it here, and it's inescapable. Almost got away there. If you see how it's like really hard to escape, and the opponent people will be on their shit and will blow this shit up. So remember, kids, let's go over this one more time. Your first line of defense in Melty Blood against as soon as you see an opponent jump A. So now we're gonna make a layered situation. Now we're gonna make a layered situation. Let's record Akiha doing so say and look what happens. Remember this basic Melty movement we talked about? So we jump A, but the jump A is out of range, right? Like let's assume the jump A is out of range. Alright, get out, stop walking at me, bitch. Falling with the button is still protecting the space in front of you. You understand? Are you getting that? So if you happen to not catch the first jump, see what I'm saying? So now the first jump already happened, so now your next line of defense is the jump B. Then your third line of defense, if they finally come at you, is your grounded anti-air. So if you don't have one, you could try to like last second adjust with shield or something. It can be risky. Like obviously you're gonna learn that movement to avoid anti-airs is good, but generally that's what we're doing anyway, right? Or avoiding a situation where you can get jumped in on. Does any of that shit make sense? So let's go over that really quick so people can understand. So we went over this. ID back. We went over jump 9A, drift back, jump 9A, drift back, IED back if there's a threat, and then you can use stuff like dodge. If you're full moon, you don't have dodge, but hey, I have other stuff to delay my fall. etc. Whatever. Find out what you could do with your own character. And then there's the one option I haven't discussed is what happens if you jump A and they like whiff or something. Like say like Akiha is too busy doing like some kind of grounded something on the ground or whatever. Like she's doing a 5B or something. Like I don't know. So say you do your jump A. So you could fall with a button. So your jump A has so many layers to it. So if you could recognize situations, you don't have to do this. You don't always have to do this. You can just hit her. So this is something you could even do in like corner pressure and shit. Like you can maybe, hey, are they gonna try to jump out? You try to catch them with a jump A. But you notice they're still on the ground, you might as well continue pressuring them. Have I covered everything? Let me know if I missed something. I know this might be like scatterbrained and whatever because I don't have any structure, I don't have a format. I just want to show people basics. But I think that, because like, dude, a lot of this shit is like undocumented. Like, how do I move safely in this game? So we're gonna go back to, no, we're gonna go to Reese right now. We're gonna find this one of the slower characters in the game. We're gonna go back to Ryogi. Pretty sure nothing you said works against Neko or Chaos. Thanks. That's great. Actually, it can. It can. You never know. And again, matchup specific stuff is going to be different, right? There's going to be other movements that you're going to have to take advantage of in different matchups. So I'll gloss over that for a little after I go over this, which is how to move after you tech. How do you move in a tech situation? So first, we're going to look over air to air. So I'm going to record some random. I'm just going to make Ryogi IAD jump C or some shit. And I'm going to show what happens if I get hit. What happens if you get hit in the air? So if you notice, what I'm doing here is a really late neutral air tech to just land close to the ground. So say I'm like here though. You can try a back tech, but you want to again keep it low as possible to the ground. But now what happens if I get hit and so I haven't gone over moving or teching with air options, right? So if I get hit in the same situation with Ryogi, I use my final remaining air options to clear the whole fucking screen, right? So notice when she hits me here. Let's look at that again. I'm all the way mid-screen. So we were able to tech. We use super jumps, or a super double jump in this case, and an air dash, and look how much space we've gained. But now what happens if you use multiple air options? All I have left is air dash. So where are you going to really air dash with that? So and those are the situations where if you find yourself in air to air, you want to do the really late neutral tech. As opposed to teching high up in the sky. Like say I use all of my air options or whatever, and you tech in the air. And you tech all the way up there, right? Say I tech all the way up there. All I can do is fall to the ground, and I'm at Ryogi's mercy. That's why you want to practice teching as low to the ground as possible, because if you do that, you'll be able to block. And again, I'm using Reese as an example because people think she can't fucking move. So now check out this example that I will show you. I think it's this recording. No, not that one. Which one is it? Did I overwrite this one? Damn it. Maybe this one? Yeah, this one. Okay. So check this shit out. What do you do in this situation? She put you in an air tech at the top of the fucking screen. So if you still have your air options, tech, try to get the fuck away. A lot of times I notice players will do something like this instead. But if you've been following what we've been going over up until this point, you know that Ryogi can anti-air you, she can shield, etc, etc. So your goal when you tech, it should be to get the fuck away and land safely. So now again, let's go over that situation, but now I used all, let's say I got hit, she anti-aired me, I used all my air options. You can still late neutral air tech, low to the ground, relatively safely. Now, there are going to be issues against certain characters with invalid pickups, so you have to be careful. But if you have no air options and you tech over here, you're just a sitting duck falling from the top of the screen all the way back to the ground. Yeah? I guess the other thing to note is that when you're moving, there's a, like, aside from the fact that you want to put out a hitbox, but putting out a hitbox on your air dash actually lowers your recovery. So when you're air dashing back, you need to, if you don't put a hitbox out on an air dash, you actually have extra landing recovery. So this, the landing recovery thing varies from moon to moon. So if you look at the Melty Mizumi page, under advanced mechanics or something like that, you'll see the finer details. So with F Moon has like the lowest landing recovery for the most part, and the other moons have a little more. So you'd have to figure that out, because I'm not going to show you all the data right now. What else have I not gone over? So remember those same concepts that we showed with Nania earlier. What's Ryogi doing here? Let's look. Dash 5B. So we're covering a ground approach with this, and we can also cover air approach. Just check it out. A lot of times, you know, you want to use your normal. Like Reese loves pressing 5B, right? But there's an inherent issue sometimes with this, in the sense that, hey, Ryogi air dashed at me. Oh shit, I'm dying. So a lot of times to protect your space, you want to do stuff like jump 7 buttons or whatever, because this will cover both the ground approach and the air approach. Again, your mileage varies from character to character. Oh, fuck. I just had one more concept I wanted to go over. Oh, yeah. Okay. How to deal with zoners. I didn't record these, so I'm just gonna check. Alright, so I actually have her being a dumbass, and we can see Jump 7B with Akia is an anti-air. Forget that. That's not the point. And Akia again can grounded anti-air too. But again, that's not the point I was looking at. I was looking for a different recording. That's not what I wanted either. It's not what I wanted either. So something as simple as this, right? How do you deal with this? So against CL types, quick jump 7, super double jump. Even if you get caught guarding the first key. Oh shit, now she's dead. Or just doing jump 7, super double jump in general will clear a whole key set period. So learning how to block. Well, let's say you block the first one. Still found your way in. So this will teach you how to block quickly in the air. So like I'm blocking, I'm jump back and I'm already in an air block. And then I quickly super jump and punish her. If you're not feeling it, you could always retreat. Because there's going to be the chance that you just clear it completely. Because people are like, man, why is my character Akia? Look how slow she is. Her movement is so bad. She barely moves anywhere when I jump with her. What if you super jump? Look how much ground I covered. Similarly, where I'll quickly look at one thing, and then I have one last thing I want to go over before I end this video, because I don't want to make it too long. And it has to do with what I just described. So you saw the air guarding, right, into a quick super double jump. Similarly, if you're fighting... Oh, these are summer heat, probably. Alright, let me just record it myself. A lot of people have struggled with this shit. They're like, how the fuck do I fight this shit? If I go to the air, I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting hit. If I block it and move, she can anti-air me now. What if you super jump? So once again, now your jump 9 now becomes a... So remember this concept that a lot of people always forget too, is like, oh shit, I'm blocking in the air, and then this is usually what happens. Block in the air and then they land. And now CL has pushed you back. What if you jump into it, sneak in? Especially with a super jump. Now if you do it at a height like where it's far, CL can recover. And maybe she could flash kick you or something. But then there's another concept, like how do I close the gap from here? So you can fucking oh shit, I cleared the whole key set with a basic jump 7 super double jump. And again, if the situation doesn't look good, you could always retreat. You don't have to commit. Etc. Does that make sense? Alright, so the final thing I want to go over is corner. How do you deal with the corner? So a lot of people tell you, okay, this is how you jump out. You just jump out of the corner after, you know, just find a spot to jump out of their pressure. And what does that even mean? Like, people jump out, they try to jump out, they're like, alright, I'll do this. Or I'll try this or some shit. But what's actually a great way to jump out of the corner? And again, it goes back to that movement I've been showing you. Jump 7, super double jump. And look at my inputs. Look at my inputs. You see me as I'm doing jump 7 and super double jump. As soon as I'm putting super double jump, I'm already pressing down back. So why am I doing that? Just in case they meet me in the air. Because, like, say I'm at Fakia and someone tries to jump out of the corner, I'm going to do this. And it goes back to our basics again. Remember this shit? Remember this shit? It applies for the corner too. So if I'm trying to prevent someone from jumping out, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and this. And that's going to stop them from being able to jump out. So if you try a jump out option like this, you're going to die. If you try a jump out option like this, you're going to die. But if you try a jump out option like this, you'll be able to block at worst. And at best, you'll be soaring over their head. So now let's say CL is here. Let's say CL is here and you're trying to jump out of the corner. You're like, oh shit, I have to retreat. Because if you try to soar over her head, there's a really good chance she's going to be able to air you or anti-air you. So at certain times you're going to have to know when do I have to retreat? And then notice what you could do in Melty Blood, right? So you can quickly retreat, or you could do a late retreat. Similarly, if you're jumping out from here, you're just good. You're good. I'm landing here. But say they start chasing you, like say like you jump over, and CL start chasing you, use that final air dash to try to gain extra space. And again, this entire time you're holding a block, so just in case they try to air you, you might be trapped, but you'll still have the air dash as a final adjustment. Is there anything else from that? I think I had one more thing I wanted to say for the corner escape shit. Struggle. Oh yeah, okay. So this is what you don't want to do. I'm gonna record the dummy. I'm gonna use my friend Luther as an example. I'm sorry, buddy, but you're the example. Actually, I'm gonna use let's use a random character as our example. Let's say I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. Let's just pick Nadia. And we're gonna pick Crescent Kohaku. So remember the corner escape, right? Our idea is we want to get out. We don't want to engage with the opponent. Your goal is just to escape. But a lot of players, they'll escape the corner and then air dash back and try to hit the opponent. So say like the opponent's here. They're like, oh, fuck you, I'm sneaking back in. I feel like this is really greedy, and I'll show you why. Well, so let's record Kohaku doing this escape, and then air dash back, jump C. So let's say I'm trying to catch. Oh, I fucking let him out. Alright, let's go to the other corner. Oh shit. So a lot of problems I notice a lot of players have, this is what they do. The player jumps over their head, and they're like, oh, I gotta dash back into them. So let's see that one more time. They dash back. Oh, Okay, gotta space it better. How's that missing? And then they put themselves in a mix-up situation or give the opponent the advantage. But if someone clears your head, all of a sudden a jump back button is free. Let's go back to the corner. So it's like, fuck, I let him out of the corner. But if they decide to air dash back at you, you can always just jump 7 button and destroy them for it. And again, if you're holding this position and they choose the air dash back, that's fine. So like your basic wall would be do stuff like this. And if you're like holding this ground, they're gonna want to air dash back because you're trying to keep the corner. But say you fuck up, you're like, oh, I messed up. Okay. So you do the jump back button, make sure they don't fucking retreat on you and try to hit you on some dumb shit. Like, you want to force them to do the proper escape. You don't want to let them fucking fly back at you and try to steal their turn. Right? So again, so now we're going corner escape. Jump 7 super double jump is your best bet. The reason why it's better than double jump, let's turn off the dummy. So let's look at jump 7 super double jump. Where am I? I'm here at this pillar, right? My face is touching this pillar, pretty much. Now, what's happens if I do jump 7 double jump? Holy shit. I'm not moved anywhere. So if my opponent can just kill me. You're not moving at all. But if you super double jump, you gain so much more ground. That's really important. I guess one final thing I could talk about. Which goes back to the keys, which goes back to the corner escape, is what do you do in a general air blocking situation? Let's say like Kohaku makes you block that. Again, the super double jump is your best bet. You could readjust and move further away. Because say like you do a regular double jump, if the Kohaku player is on point, the Kohaku player could air throw you, double jump air throw. At worst, if you do a super double jump, the only thing they could really do is try to pin you with like jump B into another second jump B. But because of what you learned fundamentally, you're inputting the super double jump with a guard, right? Check my inputs. I'm already guarding. So the last thing I'll show is how that would work. Let's pick Nero. So Nero's egregious and it's fucked up, but against most characters that aren't Nero, you generally can be safe, but whatever. I'm using Nero as an example because it's easy for me to record and show this. So if Nero is flying at you... Alright. Hold up. Alright, let me re-record that. Let's just do a single hit. So to make sure you know you're doing your super double jump properly. God damn it. Let me re-record this shit. The double hit is fucking me up. God damn it. It's too fast. So you notice if you're able to jump and guard immediately. So in the Kohaku example, she would probably do another jump B. You still have your air dash left, right? So you see I used the final air dash. I think I'm gonna stop there. If you do find yourself in that position against Nero, usually it's worse because it's higher in the air, and then he's gonna air unblockable you. But hey, it's better than getting hit by the initial thing. So I don't know. I did my best. This had no structure, but I try to go over a bunch of different things because a lot of people like. Well, man, let's make Nero shut up. There's like too many concepts in this game that are like completely unexplained. They're just not documented, or if they are explained, it's like hidden in like a 5-hour video somewhere that you won't find unless you dig really, really deep. Like there's no text guides explaining this shit. We do have Alps' tutorial, but like Alps' tutorial shows jump 7 super double jump out of the corner, but it doesn't show the inputs. So it doesn't show that he's inputting a guard underneath it or whatever, or the nuances of spacing, when to retreat, when to air dash out, and etc., etc. The basic fundamental movements. So let's recap real fast. We learned this. 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 We learned all this other shit too. Yeah, where's my donkey kick? Oh, I'm C Nanya. My bad. I was trying to do donkey kick. I thought it was H Nanya. Whatever. Whatever. And that's the other thing I forgot to mention on the corner escape. If you feel like they're chasing you mad hard, you could always readjust with the last second air dodge if you're C Moon or whatever. I talked about that a little bit, but not in the context of a corner escape. I showed how to use basic Melty properties for air-to-airs. Whatever. I think it was decent. It's better than fucking nothing. So, I don't know. Yeah, whoever was in the chat, thank you for watching. I'll put this shit on YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be that great, but hopefully it can give people a basis and maybe help them, like, develop their own, like, movement regimen. Like, learn how to do basic Melty shit. I guess the final, there's a little small things I didn't go over. I think I did actually. I went over everything, at least whatever I remember. So yeah, guys, I'm done. And oh yeah, I got bits, yo. That's what's up. Or cheers, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what that does, but shoutouts to you guys. We out. Peace.